back to the Collegiate ACES series as presented by the Philly Esports Network. I'm Hail Monkey Man. Let's slow it down, and we're going to be talking to Grant CFO about our wonderful scheduled third match that's coming up. I just winded myself, but you guys better not be winded as we get ready for the Pride versus the Mountaineers. Both these squads in the top 5 of this stack for the ACES series.
They are going to be another duo facing off tonight where we see probably another even series. I expect this one goes to a deciding game 3 because you've got similar records, although Widener staying at the top 3 of the ACES series. They have yet to play their I guess 13th, 14th, and 15th match, or rather game. So it's still kind of up in the air as to whether or not are they the record they say they are? I don't know, so it's a little inaccurate of a reading at the time, so anything could happen.
Well, we get to see the trio of Scoob, Davi, who is not Davey, Davi, and then of course Toucan. They'll be taking them on from the Pride side of things as the Mountaineers now recoiling. They will be able to get a demo. We saw a whole bunch of those as Horizon will leave us, respawn, and then try to be able to get back in the thick of it. Sean connecting from the near side post, and this is going to be a much quicker game. I think that we're going to see a lot of speed, a lot of just threats to the back of the net, and Scoop trying to be able to dish it into the stripes. Doesn't find a teammate as of yet.
Trippy Toucan's got their hands on some stuff. Both of these teams still going back and forth, doing their best to play their game, and they've come up short a couple of times, but Scoob is ready just far up enough to get this one into the net.
Great challenge. Jolly just ends up feeding it to the second man, and Scoob never leaving his nose for the net. If it didn't work the first time, he was going to be there on the second, and pouncing upon it are the Pride. But maybe our breakout play from the early kickoff, it will go over and maybe arc in, and it does! Sean will tie us up at 1 early.
Where's the defense on this one? I'm so confused. Davi doesn't know where they're going, and then you have Trippy who's like, I don't want to get the ball, but Scoop's like, you have to get the ball. I'm still getting boost over here, and that is one they will be wanting back. Certainly some things that need to be straightened up if they want to take back the lead.
That is kickoff rotations, and that's another one. Horizon over the moon and over this touch as Jolly just gets a great big win, and Davi is streaking to get there in time. No dice.
This one's definitely forgivable. Horizon had just a banger of a shot. It was quick enough. Davi, though, turned upfield when they could have turned back, and that's about the only change they could have made in order to stop that one from going in. But those are the high-quality shots we expect from Western Colorado. This one zooms down to the other side. It's caught down below. Lucky it didn't go in for Western Colorado. Davi being bumped out of the way, leaving space for Horizon. They want to play off the sidewall. They'll 50 instead, forfeiting to Scoob. Over the head of Jolly. They've got it over Sean, but not by much. It's off the crossbar, and Horizon racing back the other way. Does have the chance. Jolly steals the boost rather than go for the ball. Scoob, sidewall again. Sean's over their head and towards the net. That's a goal to tie the game with the courtesy of Scoop.
Grant, I think we saw this one coming a mile away as soon as those two were stuck in the same zone, and then the third man turned up to stay in the midfield. There was so much open territory, green grass, and becoming blue as that ball bounced into it. It's just a matter of rotation. They gave up the easy one, and the Pride will be able to get a third as Davi will work it through.
These things are just not what I expected from the top 5. Are we really drooling over boost, guys? I guess not necessarily this time around, but Horizon wanted a much stronger touch, just had nobody to back them up. Because what you want to see is somebody coming from the net there and banging the ball across rather than you having to cut in front of anybody. There's no reason to go for that. And now I'm just getting even more confused by the second.
Okay, out of this, it was a speed flip, and he caught it straight off of Sean's nose. That is dangerous. That is.
I'm okay. Yeah. I'm okay with this, Monkey Man. This one is much better to see. Again, more forgivable mistakes. You just have one bad kickoff. I'm like, okay, whatever. But this is a high-scoring affair. One of the highest-scoring matches we have seen here on the ACES series. So What's in store? I have no idea. There's no way to really predict it at the moment unless Scoob gets across with this one. They don't, but it has 2 players up on the defense and a third going by. Davi with a big opportunity, not the best clear. Trippy had a shot but was called off by Scoob. Don't know it was the right choice and it could be punishable. Davi is there to stop it and help out their team. Lots of times, though, we see Western Colorado and Widener as well, both sides getting those cuts across their teammate because they have to. They haven't really prepared for the worst-case scenario where the ball's going to the places that they don't want it to go, and now they want it to go in the net, but they can't find it. They still are down 2, this Western Colorado team.
Half our goals have been kickoff goals. The other half have just been catching each other off guard. Scoob trying to do the same thing, gets it past Jolly, but Sean will be able to cut down in space, and so have the Mountaineers as they're trying to be able to force the Pride back into their den. It goes just off the low side of the post, and they're not going to find any physics in their favor. We have 90 seconds left. It's still a double-up lead for the Pride, trying to keep the Mountaineers at bay, but they are on that forward press. He's got to be able to find this next possess.
What we really need to see right now is both sides willing to take some risks. Even on the defensive side, the lack of risk-taking is why we see this one go forward. Trippy spawns in a weird spot, that's forgivable, but the person in net needs the challenge much, much quicker. You don't want them to come across in front of your net, of course. Why would you? That's going to let more goals like that go in, and if another goes in, we've got a tied series, but Scoob wants to be quick to the punch. They'll just miss by a margin small enough that we can forgive it. Trippy Toucan has it around the corner. Jolly to midfield. Scoob is there. Trippy as well. People getting involved, though. When I say risk-taking, I don't mean double commits. Those words are not synonymous by any nature, because if they are, things like this happen, and this game one's equalized.
Navi got the boost, but when you go to that near side rotation, you are stuck. And he's facing his own post, just trying to see how this is going to bounce off the 45 and taking risks. Go the mile whenever you can do them in that style. You're able to be that second man that is just bursting forward. Maybe they can get a dunk here. No. Great collect. We're under a minute, or just a minute remaining.
Davi's got the possession off the side. Scoob's got to get that defense. They got back in time, but time is not on their side as they push towards the other end of the pitch. They've got it off the backboard. That's a miss. It's an open net, but nobody is there in time. Again, no one wants to take these risks. They are too nervous to do anything about it. And Sean's got it over the head of Scoob, meaning that Davi's got to push forward on this. They missed the ball entirely. Scoob having to dive in and bail out their team yet again. They'll move across the middle of the pitch. Davi is there. No connection to be found. 10 seconds to go. It gives the blue side a chance. Western Colorado have the opportunity, but they keep getting met. Horizon's actually camping in net. You might want to clear this one far and long, but that bounce will not give it to them. We could be looking at overtime, and that stop right there will prove that indeed we are with that 4-4 scoreline.
There has been a surplus of goals, whether through mistake, whether through actions that require Grant's forgiveness. They have been met by a consistency to find the back of the net. And it's Horizon who has brought himself into the fold. Great chance. Davi is going to try and dunk. A little bit of D on D if they can help it. Trippy Toucan has an option. He's called off by Scoob. Maybe looking to be able to get a dunk pass if he can help it. But the Pride have been able to maintain possession of this first half-minute overtime play.
Jolly's got that clear across. Trippy Toucan. This is where you have to watch out for the defenses. There's going to be one mistake that determines this all. You see one there. That's not what I'm talking about. We have to look towards the goal line like this. When you've got the double commits, Sean does have the 50. They set themselves up. Horizon feeling the need to get involved as well. I think this comes down to whoever's able to send individuals forward more than just not more than one. You only want one person on the ball at a time. Here's Jolly. Sean back. Actually, Horizon goes for it. Now Sean's got their opportunity. Good catch. The 50 off the sidewall to midfield. It's just one person at a time. That's what you got to do here. The first person to double commit is going to be the one that's going to fall. That's my prediction.
I mean, you're not wrong. We've seen these be the strangest of rotations. It's literally one person being left alone and two chasing each other's tails. And Jolly from downtown will be able to get the winning goal. Break it down for us here.
Ironically, I'm not necessarily wrong. It was WCU, the winning team, that was the ones to double commit. And they still got away with it. They bump each other and then lob a hefty touch across the pitch. And that's what's finding its way home for the first game win of the series.
That is 11 shots to 14. We've got 25 shots between both these squads. 9 goals. An offensive ridiculousness that presented itself in our first game of guaranteed 3, and these teams at each other's throats to be able to control that upper 5 positioning. I think it's 3 versus 5 in this one between Widener and Western Colorado, and you know what, it might as well be 1 versus 2 for how importantly they're treating it.
I thought this game was going to go a lot differently. When I said it was going to go close, I didn't think it was going to be high scoring. I never think it's going to be high scoring like this, because you don't expect there to just be 2 faltering defenses, right? That's just not something that happens that often, especially at this high level of Rocket League. But apparently it is, and maybe it just means that they're much better at offense and their defense is decent. I have no idea what way to look at this, because there's so many potential ways you could, but I'm gonna go with, you know, the faltering defense line here. Yeah.
Might as well. Trippy Toucan, errant backflip. They're trying to elevate in some way, and then Davi filling the gap, but it's a dealer's choice, and it's tough to choose when you're on the goal line like that. It could go anywhere, and you just have to flip away and flip in one direction. Now, what we haven't seen yet, because there's only been a few seconds of play, is cleaned up kickoffs. That one surrendered 3 goals of the 9, a third of what happened in game number 1. I want to see that one be the starter kit of both these teams trying to clean up their play.
Very interesting how similar these guys play, and the reason we're seeing a lot of the double commits and the cutting off of rotations, it comes down to selfishness. And I can say this because I do it. Even as a Grand Champion player, I am very selfish. I want to get involved with the play, and this time we, I guess, have some risk-taking that does pay off.
Horizon just puts it down center lane and then is unable to respond in time. The rotation is not going to come, especially when you just have a player that is diving through. It's a loss of possession. It's giving it over to your opponent and then just seeing what they're going to be able to make of it, and the Pride will turn that one into a goal. 1 minute play has turned into 2 goals, and again, this is going to be another high-scoring affair.
Oh boy, but Horizon with a miss, and Sean tries the back pass, gives up possession to Davi, who's just got 1 to get over, and don't quite get there. Trippy Toucan has it off that corner. Sean trading back, passing it up to Jolly, who got bumped. That could open up a door. Davi a little slow, though. Starting to wonder where Scoob is and all that. I haven't said Scoob's name all game. They've got to get more involved. They'd have a chance here. It's off the crossbar, unfortunately, for them, and they'll be wishing that one back.
Well, you wanted him to be more involved, and he's at least able to take some level of shot to threaten the defense to be able to answer. That's a pass, and that's a connection. Hey, you know what, Grant? Scoob said, hey, I got your number, and I got this ball.
You know what? I got to give respect to that. You executed what I needed you to do, is get more involved, and maybe it's just I haven't had the opportunity to say Scoob's name. Maybe timing is just not on my side today for Scoob, and I can't be sorry about that because that's out of my control. But great job to them getting involved regardless. It's what they needed to do for their team to get back this goal lead. And again, we cannot even determine the game right now unless there's a big pull away, which is a very likely situation. You see there's no contact on the defense, but there's no contact on the offense either. It could go either way it wants to. Now it's back out to midfield. Davi sending long.
This is a couple of squads that you've already said are very mirrored to one another. It is all out war. This is kind of no rhyme, no reason. It's just playing for the season, and it's going to be Davi that's going to be able to turn another one, and this is one of our very few multi-goal leads.
And multi-goal player as well. Davi has been that star for the WU side, so I mean, I'm not surprised. This is Davi, and it's just, we have to put respect on the name. You have to be fearful of that player if you are Western Colorado, and also the fact that Western Colorado is the lower seed. They are the 5 seed going into this week 6. We are currently watching play out before us, but Widener is number 3. Not too far off. We expected the close series, and of course it's been high scoring all day long. Now they are trailing by 2. This is what I feared, is that pull away. It could stop here, but Scoob stops the ball instead to keep themselves alive.
Scoob is that player that has to take control of the Pride and show them, hey, we do not need to be panicking. We don't need to double commit. We've seen a lot less of that from both sides, his especially, as they're finding a lot more of open space to be able to rotate through. I say that, but Davi is being a extra step to be able to make those passes work, and they do that in a very acute fashion. Sub 2 minutes to go. Pride taking steps forward, trying to be able to cement this series in their favor, at least 2 out of the 3 games. Giving the defense a couple of extra looks, and maybe they'll be able to cook this one into the book. Sean in a one-on-one, he gets a flick, and that's going to go through.
That is beautiful play. Every touch was perfect here. The catch, the quick accessibility to get their hands on a flick that quickly, that determines how world-class your 1v1 skills are. How quick can you gain control and act upon it? Because normally you see teams, and unfortunately not in this case, they're pouncing on the ball before you even have control, but that was just tough to beat, as are both of these teams. It's off the crossbar. Luckily, Widener get away with this and can keep their 1-goal lead. They'll look for some ferocity, but they'll get it returned in their face instead. Trippy Toucan missing their chance. Scoob has that 50, not so much in their favor. Jolly not able to get up to that one. They had to let Sean go for it, and I'm wondering about the comms now for Western Colorado and exactly what their thought process is to communicate, because something's gotta give here, and I feel like sometimes they make the wrong calls.
That one, Jolly was the higher initiator, and they had the step. Horizon needs to be able to make this cut sooner, but Scoob with no boost is going to defend that back line as best as he can from in front of the stripes. That's a great pass. It goes over to Scoob. This one's going to drop down dangerously. Davi's going to dive, and it's going to be put aside. Scoob with the putback. No! Now it's a foot race. Sean being able to go to the backside corner. He's got all 3 in front of him. Can he be able to make a win? No. No beat, no treat for the likes of the Mountaineers, and that one goes the other way.
Jolly in pursuit of it, hotly contested, 20 seconds to go. The blue side need a goal now. Western Colorado are struggling to get out of their own half, and this could seal it if Scoob got there. Davi's got their chance. Sean with the demo to open things up. Jolly's got a shot on it, just gotta get the power. Trippy racing back to it, and they've gotten there in time. So lucky to spawn like that. But with time dwindling away and that clear going far, oh, hang on a second. It's still up for the time being, but maybe now it hits the floor. It does, and Widener get their victory.
Pride can take pride in their performance. It has been a lot of shooting all the time. This one actually cut it to nearly less than half of the total amount of goals and shots that we got to see in game number 1. Still a similar result, 1 goal of difference as Western Colorado, those Mountaineers fought back, but they were unable to climb over the mountain. The Pride currently own the peak.
At this point, this is a series that is determined by what team can play their game better. There's no easier way to put it. There's not a lot of analytics going on here. It's small mistakes. It's whatever. It's consistency is what it comes down to. There's not a lot to speak about because these teams are that evenly contested. This could go either way. I'd be interested to see how a best of 7 goes, and even if that can go the distance, because this series seems like I think it has. I've lost track because it's so even. I don't know who won the last game, and it's hard to keep up with.
Well, luckily for us, wait, is this 1-1? Hold the phone. I thought that it went the other direction. Am I completely at odds with myself? I must be. Is this a split series? Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't
really
either.
Would not be. It has gone that way. It deserves to be this way. We deserve to be in a deciding game 3. Like, despite all the criticisms I've had, both teams have these problems. So if it is a split series, I'm not shocked at all. I'm not ripping on the teams because they're good in their own regards. I get highly analytical and there's little things, but both teams have the problems, and whoever straightens them out obviously is going to be the victor.
Well, it's now so far the offensive that's trying to be able to move its way through for the likes of the Mountaineers. Toucan waiting on Davi, who has been a massive proponent of good offense and good defense, but it's Scoob.
Wait.
Oh, he slots it top 90.
What How did this one happen? I don't know. Big bangers? Nobody in net. I guess as long as it's on target, you find it in, and that's the circumstance that gives Widener the victory. So we've just gotten confirmation as well that Western Colorado did win in overtime. So we are at a split series. This is a deciding game 3, and this is going to have some implications for the losing team. They are going to be real furious if they drop out of this one because it was that close.
Thank you to production for correcting me, because this one just got even heftier in its weight on offense. Widener responding means that the Mountaineers are trying to be able to do the exact same thing. They are now in a set tone to march forward and maybe usurp the throne that the Pride are hanging on to in that 3rd position. Horizon at the midfield will be challenged by Davi, but Davi stays on the ground just to threaten enough. Jolly will get the demo onto Scoob, and they force Davi to go to that back line. The Mountaineers are pushing forward, still haven't been able to find a goal as of yet.
Davi's got a big old clearance. Horizon not the best touch, and Trippy Toucan may have a shot. Scoop, why? Why would you go in for that? It's the thing I have been harping on all the time. Yeah, you could hold on to this 1-goal lead, but there's no reason you are breaking my heart like that, right? We're not breaking it, are we? Is that what we're going for, Scoop? I'm not happy, but I'm sure Western Colorado will be happy that they got away with literal murder on the pitch.
Trying to be able to murder in the booth, the pitch, and anyone that's in front of them. There's been a lot of physicality as we now get to see a demo straight up spawn in front of us, as Sean will hit the showers and be able to come back stronger and maybe better clean on the other direction. Now past halftime, Sean's left with nothing in his tank and really no velocity behind that ball. With 2 minutes coming up, we're still left with nothing on the Mountaineers' side of the scoreboard, and maybe almost surrendering a 2nd goal. The Pride are in control for as long as they have it, and it goes back to the same place it last scored.
I'm coming to the conclusion that Scoop doesn't like Trippy because he just stole his goal. Not only that, he cut him off earlier. Really? Scoop, goodness gracious. When I said get involved, it's not what I meant. But the fact that it's working, I guess it is what I meant, because I want to look like I'm smart when I'm not. But 2 minutes to go, you have 2 goals needed for the Western Colorado side. If they want to come back into this, they at least need to force overtime, I guess is what you're looking for, but that is less likely to happen when Trippy Toucan finally gets their hands on a goal they deserve.
Well, Davi was able to serve it off the sidewall. Horizon just found 0 Dawn, as that one will not be able to come back to them as it trips over that goal line. They parked their car, they looked in reverse, and they gave a great big sigh. The Pride 3-0, looking to take all this momentum from that Game 2 win to maybe be able to finally make it punctual with a 2nd, and Scoob from the side wall. No, an extra chance, but now with sub 90 seconds coming up, it's going to be the Mountaineers that have to go full court press.
Oh, I love that pinch back the other way for Widener, though. Horizon looking up that back wall. You've got 80 seconds to work. 2 of your players up and wasting boost will not allow you many resources to work with, but it might not matter until Trippy Toucan gets their hands on the defensive save. Scoob with a backflip. Jolly's got the opportunity, but these shots aren't going in as fast as they would like them to, and that's what's leaving them out of being able to score goals.
Bit of a double commit. Horizon will loft it. That may be the final Horizon that they find, as everything is starting to become dark shadows. Sean to the sidewall. That's going to be a giveaway. Scoob will pop it up. They're going to start burning time by going more vertical, forcing the Mountaineers to have to answer with boost, which is going to ruin their resources for trying to recover and get down the pitch. That's a bouncer, and no one's there to punish it. I am slapping the arms of my chair because that was one of the opportunities they will not get back.
It was exactly what we talked about in the last series. Risk taking. If you're not willing to do it, then you will fall short every time. And unfortunately, we've seen plenty of opportunities for Western Colorado, and they have yet to capitalize on any of them in game number 3. And because of that, Scoop takes advantage, all the space to work with all the way down the pitch. He's also got the slow play. That pop was real fortunate for them and unlucky for Jolly. And that's what turns in the 4th goal that seals this series.
Pride coming in with pride. And they're going to walk away with it, too. And they're going to walk away with a split diff in their favor for this series. Widener able to get game number 3 in the books for themselves after suffering from an OT loss in game 1. They'll take this 3-game set 2-1 over the Mountaineers. Job well done to the Pride and Widener.